It's not quite the school year till the kids are there, but close enough. Appreciate the principals being here. It's 5 o'clock. We're going to get started. I know the principals have many other things on their mind. I appreciate you being here. And Ms. Bowman, I see you. I appreciate you being here too, because I know it's busy. And the district staff has no choice. Roll call, Ms. Barnes.
President Kaminsky.
Here.
Vice President Kelly.
Here.
Clerk Wood. Here. Trustee Cooper.
Present, sir. Ma'am.
Trustee Napier. Absent. Trustee Sweeney. Absent. Superintendent Larson Everson.
Present.
And I'm Deanna Barnes.
All right, doing the flag salute and moment of silent reflection today is the Learning Director at Tompkins Elementary School, Mrs. Christy Fiskus.
Good evening, Board of Trustees, and good evening, Superintendent Larson Everson. Please stand. Put your right hand over your heart. Ready, begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Please join me in a moment of silence. Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you, Mrs. Fiskus. And with that, approval of the agenda. Do I have a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion.
Kelly, a second.
It was motioned by Trustee Cooper, seconded by Vice President Kelly to approve the agenda. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 4-0. General function, superintendent update. Superintendent Larson Everson.
Thank you, President Kaminsky. Haven't gotten to give an update for, gosh, I think over a month now. So it's good to see everybody. Trustee Cooper, I hadn't seen all summer long. I think everybody else I'd seen throughout the last week or so, but good to see you. And once again, want to echo appreciation to staff that's here, because I know they have a lot on their mind and many, many things to do. All right, you'll see we have a new format for superintendent update. This is the new look for the year. So it's my pleasure to give you a few updates this evening, and then I'm looking forward to further updates on the 28th because, of course, tomorrow's the first day of school. Mrs. Barnes, can you note for the record Trustee Sweeney's arrival? I think it is 5:04. Thank you. All right, we'll go on to the next slide. We're going to share some good. I have a lot of things to share this evening, and I'll be sharing the welcome back and photos from the welcome back, which we celebrated yesterday at our next meeting. So I did want to say just briefly, thank you to all those that helped get the park set up. So many people pitched in to help that it wasn't their job to help. They just happened to get there early, and they decided to help us put out bags and chairs, and a lot of people stayed to help clean up, and it was really nice of them to do that, and I really appreciate it, and I know our whole team does. All right, I'm going to go on to the next slide and talk about our leadership advance. Our TUSD Management Team Leadership Advance was held on July 29th and 30th. Day one focused on teamwork, specifically developing explicit plans for integrating not only the social contract, but also the 3 C's of teamwork into all that we do. And those 3 C's are celebrate, communicate, and collaborate. And so our team had some time to work on integrating those components into their department and site meetings for the year and into their schedules. Day one also included a lot of discussion about sharpening our hedgehog focus and staying centered on our collective #1 priority, which is linked to all that we do here in the district, and that is student learning. Day 2 focused on safety, protocols, and procedures, and a lot of ground was covered on both days, and we have a very dedicated team of school and department leaders, and it was a great 2 days. Next, I want to talk a little bit about Teacher Boot Camp. Teacher Boot Camp was held on August 1st and 2nd. The event was organized and delivered by our fantastic TUSD Instructional Services Department, who presented workshops and brought in presenters as well from KCSOS, as well as our curriculum publishers. And this was all to support teacher interests and needs. And there was a very fun island hopping theme going on for the day. So you saw a lot of leis and beach balls floating around in the THS Cafe. And the feedback from teachers was that they enjoyed and valued the day and especially valued the content that was provided. Next slide, please. Wanted to talk just for a moment about new classroom furniture. As you may already be aware, we have new classroom furniture that you can see displayed up there that was added to about 25 classrooms at JMS and approximately 25 also at THS. And the furniture not only looks great, but it really supports student engagement. You can see how those desks fit together and really supports collaboration in the classroom. So we're really excited about seeing the reaction from students on the first day of school as they see how their classrooms are newly configured. Next slide, please. I wanted to talk for a moment about National Night Out, which was held on Tuesday, August 6th. TUSD provided a booth at both Central Park here next door and at Cub Lake. And as always, we had a TUSD bus at each location and lots of staff on hand to meet and greet. And I want to thank all the team members, too many people to mention, but so many people stayed at the park or out at Cub Lake and represented TUSD. It was a really fun night, but we recognize the extra value provided when team members participate in these events, and it's during their precious evening hours. So again, really want to thank them. And I don't think there was quite as big as a turnout here at the park as there has been in past years, but still it was a good turnout, and kids love to come over to the table and pick out some of the goodies that we have laid out. All right, I want to talk for a minute about Tehachapi Police Department. This evening I've invited our police chief, Richard Standridge, to join us. So Chief, if you want to come up to the podium, and before I continue with my comments, sorry, I want to run these over to you.
All right, thank you very much.
So give me just a minute to get back there to the microphone. I have a few other little things to say.
Oh, okay.
I want to give those to you though.
Thank you. Every time I come, I take something home.
They're chuckling because they know I always have something to say. But he's here to share this evening a few updates about the department and some safety enhancement that will support our TUSD students in the community. But I also wanted to take the opportunity to thank the chief and his team for their support, which has been ongoing. You guys are always there when we need you. It doesn't take much. It's a quick phone call or text, and I have a live person that will hear what's going on and what we need help with. And you guys are absolutely a part of our team here. We are TUSD. You are part of that team. So I wanted to give a hat and a T-shirt for both you and Officer Aguilar.
Thank you.
So you've got all the TUSD gear.
Awesome.
And we'll expect when we see you out in the community, when you're not on duty, that you'll be wearing our stuff, right?
I do. The hats go in my office. I have a nice cabinet with all my hats I've collected through my career, and then the shirts, of course, I wear. But I just thank you for inviting me tonight, Superintendent and President and trustees. I just wanted to take the opportunity to come and talk. I didn't get to come last year. I was still settling in. My family and I are fully in Tehachapi now. We have our house here and everything, so we're fully immersed in the community. But I also, in the conversations with the superintendent and I think it's important for me to start coming either once a quarter or maybe even, in the middle of the year, probably before Christmas break. And I think it's important, since we are in a contract together and we have, mutual interest in the community and the safety of our students, that I come and give an update to you of kind of some things that are going on as much as I can. So to just kind of tell you where we are with the department right now, I just brought on 2 new officers today, so we are now fully staffed. They're both laterals. One's from Bakersfield PD, one is from California City, so they'll hit the ground running. And then I've put 2 in the academy. One is a young man I hired from Bakersfield. I know he's a Garces grad, but he is also CSUB grad. And then he bought a house in Bear Valley, so he's already immersed himself in the community. And then one of them is one of our dispatchers who expressed interest in being a police officer, so I'm sending her to the academy. So we're starting to develop the program to grow our own. The Explorer program will be kicking off right around the 9th or 10th of September. We've got 9 applications so far. We're looking at potentially one more, and we'll have 10. The Police Foundation raised $10,000 this year at the golf tournament. So we're going to use that, and we're going to put a harder push this year on our scholarship program. I got to come to the scholarship night, and I thought it was great, and I think we can do a better job as a foundation in getting the word out there and actually getting some more interest in they don't have to work for us, but as long as they're going into the field of law enforcement, you know, we'd be more than happy to contribute to their education. So with that being said, you still have Officer Aguilar this year. She will not be here the first couple of days. Superintendent's already aware, and Adriana was supposed to have notified all the schools. She is going to be a weaponless defense instructor for us as part of our de-escalation program that I wanted to implement as soon as I got here. We're still coming out of COVID with California Post, so as we can take these courses, we have got to get people in them because the bigger agencies are so far behind that they will come in and wipe out an entire course. They'll come in and put 30, 40 people and they'll take every seat. So we've been able to get, we have 2, Sergeant Clark and Officer Aguilar at this course right now, which will be fantastic. It's going to benefit us greatly because we'll be able to do a lot of our training in-house now, so we don't have to send people out, so you won't lose her so much for training. She can do it here, and we can get our folks qualified. That's one of the commitments I made too, is we're going to start certifying a lot of our own here so we don't lose them for, you know, a week or 2 at a time. I just purchased a speed trailer to start tracking speed in the school district, primarily in the zones where we're getting complaints. That was the main focus of buying it. And so I will, as we get complaints, we'll start putting it out in specific areas, but if not, it's going to be about 2 weeks before we get it out because we just got it registered, so we got to get it up and functioning and ready to go and get everybody trained. But it has a message board in addition to the red lights and speed signs, so it's kind of a multifunction tool that we're going to put out. And it's going to specifically put crosswalks over by Tompkins in some of the areas. Now, I have directed our officers this year to increase traffic enforcement in the school zones. I do a lot of driving in the school zones myself, and so I see a lot of illegal U-turns and things like that, and I'm going to start focusing on things that are really detrimental to our safety for our kids. That is our most precious cargo that's released by parents every day when they go to school as their children, so we're going to start putting a push in that area. Lastly, I wanted to talk about, we did active shooter training on the campus just a couple of weeks ago. Thank you so much, Superintendent, for letting us utilize the facilities. Fantastic. California Department of Corrections, Tehachapi Prison showed up. They sent 11, went through the training with us, so they are definitely a resource that can help respond if we have a critical incident. Kern County Sheriff showed up. Bear Valley PD also showed up. So we did get a good plethora of participation from our local valley right here in how we all do business and work together. So I'm pretty confident that if we have an issue on the campus, you're going to get more than enough response in safety. And again, I just want to assure the board that the superintendent and I have an open line of communication. We have each other's cell number. We talk on a regular basis about issues. So I wanted to put your mind at ease there that I'm always available. I mean, we've talked on the weekends, and because this is an important position, the kids are important, this community is important, so my phone answers when it rings. So, are there any questions from the board for me?
I don't have a question, but I just want to appreciate you. You came to a Rotary meeting, you weren't even on the job a month last year, and I appreciate your commitment to this community, as I'm sure I can speak for the board and superintendent, and we would love to hear from you. If you can do it once a quarter, that'd be outstanding.
Oh, I can. We'll work around the agenda when it's available, because I know you folks get real busy, so it'll be a time when I can come in and have valuable information to give out. But I think it's important that the board start hearing from us once a quarter and just kind of let you know what's going on and where we are and kind of things that are occurring on campus.
Great. Thank you so much.
Okay, thank you. Superintendent,
Chief.
any questions for me?
Nope, we're great. All right,
Thank you.
thank you. Hooray. We're even giving you a hooray. All right. Gosh, we've been slacking on the hoorays tonight, haven't we? We haven't been vocal about them, but we're going to make sure we give a really loud one on this next one where we're thanking summer staff. So I wanted to take this opportunity. We could have had 100 photos up here to show you of all the work that went on over summer. And I know Mr. Intezari at a future meeting will be giving you an update on all of the different summer projects. But our custodians, our grounds, our maintenance, district office staff, everybody worked so hard over the summer to prepare for tomorrow and for the opening of the new school year. Here's a picture of the guys hanging up the new logo up here in the boardroom, which looks great, and they had fun doing it. Of course, they stopped and got an ice cream at the same time. But we always appreciate the hard work that goes in all summer long, because while a lot of people are on vacation, enjoying the beach, doing things with friends and family, they are here really, really doing a lot to make sure that we're ready to start the new school year right. So thank you, summer team. We appreciate you. Hooray! Well done. All right, I also wanted to talk for a minute just about CAL FIRE. I want to specifically thank Ms. Kelly Patterson and Mr. Hojat Intizari and their departments for the extraordinary efforts to support and coordinate with CAL FIRE during the mid-July event. As I'm sure you are aware, CAL FIRE took up quite a big residence at THS for an extended period of time. We received a thank you letter from CAL FIRE just thanking staff, and heard firsthand how much they appreciated all the support and direct access to our staff. So this is their appreciation letter that I have attached, which was dated July 21st. So again, thank you to our team for all they did to support our community and CAL FIRE through this significant event. Right, moving on to the next slide. Wanted to talk for a moment about transportation as we get closer and closer to the start of the school year, which is tomorrow. We typically have a few challenges centered on transportation, and I wanted to share some basic information with you as to where we are at this point. First, however, I want to thank Denise Berry and the transportation team for their hard work in preparing and issuing bus passes for the new school year. As of last Friday, on August 9th, we had issued approximately 1,215 bus passes, 766 for secondary, and 449 for elementary. We have 11 routes ready to roll, and that's the same number of routes that were implemented last year. On the slide up there, you can see a few charts that come from the TUSD Transportation Plan, and that plan was presented to the board last March. All of the data and the numbers are in black, and they still hold true and are accurate. The numbering in orange lists the number of elementary and secondary students who are assigned to each route. And the good news is there's no wait list at the elementary level at this time. So that's fantastic. However, for secondary, we have some impacted routes. Out of the 11 routes that we have in place, we have 5 with all students placed and no wait list. So on the other 6 routes, we do have wait lists at this time, and those wait lists range from 1 to about 30 students, depending on the route. And the most impacted routes are routes 7, 8, and 9, which primarily service Bear Valley Springs and Stallion. So in total, as of Friday, we had about 100 students on a wait list, and we hope that most of these students will be accommodated over the next week or so as the routes kind of adjust, so to speak, meaning a lot of times at the beginning of the year, families get a bus pass for the days when they need it, but they may not have a student who's riding the bus daily. So as we see kind of what that ebb and flow is on our buses each day, then we'll be able to add students off the wait list to fill in. And this is the same process that we've implemented at the start of each of the last several school years. So as for basic facts, as you can see on the slide, we have 16 bus drivers, 2 actively in the training pipeline. So in addition to the 16, we have 2 in the training pipeline. And we also held interviews yesterday. Recruitment of qualified candidates continues to be a challenge. And just like all employee groups, sometimes we have staff that are out because they're ill. We might lose transportation staff due to a relocation or all the things that typically impact all employee groups. So we recognize that the bus pass process can be frustrating at times, and we're actively working as a team, staying in strong conversation, listening to parent feedback, and trying to streamline this process. But again, I want to thank our transportation department for their hard work and their continued efforts to meet the ever-changing needs of our students and families as we get ready to start the school year.
Hooray.
Hooray! Thanks, Mr. Intizari. All right, I wanted to go on to the next slide. Oh, yeah, Trustee
May I
Cooper.
ask a question?
Yes.
I'm into geography greatly, and I would like to have or see a map of the bus routes. Would that be too much to ask?
It's not too much to ask. On our website, all of the routes are posted as far as where the intersections are. So you could access that right on our website.
I didn't see it.
No
Pardon me.
worries, no worries. Any other questions, comments? Okay, very good. All right, wanted to talk about vape detectors just for a minute. I'm very pleased to share that our vape detection program is up and running for JMS and THS. As I'm sure you're aware that vaping amongst our middle and high school students is pretty rampant throughout the nation. And with the implementation of these new devices, the devices can quickly identify vaping chemicals and provide real-time alerts to our administrators. So we hope the detectors, now that they're in place, will help us better be able to enforce our smoke-free policies as well as increase students' awareness about the dangers of vaping on our 2 secondary campuses. All right, can we go on to the next slide? And the best and the biggest news of all, of course, is that tomorrow school starts. So we want to welcome all of our TUSD students and families to the new school year. We're looking forward to a great year. Our district theme this year is We Are TUSD, which is meant to convey our dedication to working together on behalf of the students and families that we serve. It was Helen Keller who is credited with saying, "Alone we can do so little, and together we can do so much." So to help spread this message about We Are TUSD, we have a video which went out to all TUSD staff and families yesterday morning, and here is the video.
Hello, I'm Kia, ASB President.
And I'm Kaden, ASB Vice President.
We want to welcome you to Tehachapi Unified School District.
We are so excited to start the new school year and want to tell you a little bit about our school district.
Check out what some of our TUSD students and staff have to say.
We are kind. We are smart.
We are strong.
We are friendly.
We are a team.
We are brave.
We are joyful.
We are warriors.
We are dedicated.
We are curious.
We are professionals.
We are respectful.
We are compassionate.
We are caring.
We are dedicated.
We are creative.
We are collaborative.
We are welcoming.
As you can see, whether you are a new student, returning student, or a staff member, you are a part of our team.
We are all in this together.
We are TUSD.
I think we need a hooray. Hooray! Hooray for the start of school. All right, we can go on to the next slide, please. Okay, now this is tentative enrollment. This is data as of Friday. So left-hand column is 23-24, right-hand column is 24-25. So 23-24, what I included there was the end of the year data. And then the enrollment data as of August 7th, you can kind of see the numbers comparing. So the total, as we ended the school year, was 4162, and as of last Friday, we were showing 4218. Of course, tomorrow's the big day, and we will know which students come and which students don't come, and we'll have a better count for you at the next meeting as well as attendance. But just kind of wanted to give you a ballpark of where we're at this time.
When will, I'm assuming excuse me for being a little off color, but we always used to call it the butts and seat count. So that'll start tomorrow, and for how many days? 10
First
days.
10 days, yep.
Okay.
And we always say we don't know until we see the whites of their eyes.
Right. Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. All right, wanted to move on to the bulletin boards. We have 2 bulletin boards up today. One that is presented by Maintenance and Operations, and the other by Technology. So do we need to flip a coin, or Ryan, are you going to go first?
Our bulletin board just kind of has a little bit of fun with Google results, and if there's some hard-hitting questions up there, like which technology team is the best looking. The answer is not up there, but I leave you to infer the results of that. We had a lot going on over the summer that we've worked on pretty hard, and among those are some new classroom setups that happened. We've moved a couple of my team members into new areas that should hopefully be more permanent homes for them as we make room for new students in the classrooms. We have configured and are starting to deploy replacement plan computers, which is about 80 computers, which is about 1/5 of our fleet of computers for the district. If you have been on our website in the last day, you'll notice that we did get a facelift and the new website is up and running today. And we have also, well, I was writing stuff down. I didn't get that far before I had to come up. But we have a long laundry list of things that we could go on that are probably pretty boring. But needless to say, my staff is very helpful in working, and I do give my guys a lot of extra duty because there's a lot to do over the summer, including inventorying items, bringing the computers out of the classrooms and putting them in new places for the teachers, making sure the teachers are ready to go day one. So they've been working hard. I appreciate them very much, and that's what we've been doing.
Thank you, Mr. McKay.
Thank you so much.
Kelly, you've changed.
Oh, no. Kelly starts at 6:30 in the morning, so she gets a break. But no, I'm happy to present the Maintenance and Operations Teams Board. This was done by the Secretary, Jackie, and our Project Manager, Kelly. They have detailed a lot of the exciting work that we've been doing and some of the other excitement that happened, as you're aware, during the summer. What was very cool was that, so every few years they have to do like a boom training, and that thing gets as far as 80 feet in the air. I got to ride it, and it's pretty amazing, and it was at the same time that we had CAL FIRE show up, so being able to see their giant operation as they occupied a large part of the THS campus was impressive. I mean, about 1,000 workers, over 250 vehicles coming and going to address the Rancho and White Fire at the same time. It was pretty remarkable. So our custodians were super excited to be there and help them and make sure they got everything they needed. And they were very pleasant to work with. They also compensate, which we'll go over in the business section. But back to the projects. So we have so much that we had going on. They put graduation up there, and I was kind of surprised, but I realized that since graduation, which seems like many moons ago, they have been full steam ahead. And so it's very impressive because starting with the transportation yard, the transportation department's very excited that they don't have to fill up their vans and buses in like standing mud anymore. It was just kind of this caving situation. So now that that's all been like a nice, long, extended driveway, it really brings a modern look to the department, and I know they're appreciative once the weather turns on us. Over at the school sites, you're aware of the TEC gym project that keeps going and delivering more great, expensive news from the Division of State Architect, but that gym is looking really, really good. The tape room, we're very excited to invite the football players, and they don't have their locker room set up, but we're hoping Boosters will help us out with that here soon. As far as at Golden Hills, the whole front sidewalk has been repaired, so just adding, that some of that, if you're familiar, is kind of crumbling and just giving the school an aged look. And so having that get repaired has just been really exciting. As far as solar, JMS is the first one to complete, cross the finish line, and become fully operational. So we should be able to start seeing the benefits. CV and THS should be coming in neck and neck for second and third. Tompkins is going really well. Golden Hills, unfortunately, we did not receive DSA approval in order to start before the summer started, and no way to guarantee that the parking lot would be available, so we had to halt. But there was just so much going on. The fire definitely did add some excitement and distraction, and but we were able to pave right after they left. A lot of the damage that was done was on the parking lot that we had already planned to re-asphalt, so it actually really worked out timing-wise. So yeah, maintenance was very busy. Big credit to the 6 groundkeepers and 6 maintenance workers that we have, our director, our project manager, and their secretary. But thank you so much for your support.
Thank you, Mr. Intezori. And Mr. McKay. All right, we'll go on to the next slide, please. List of upcoming dates and events. Just wanted to make you aware, of course, you've already heard, tomorrow's the first day of school. Lots of new tennis shoes, new backpacks, fresh haircuts. It's going to be a great day. Also, I have listed up there all the back-to-school nights. I have sent those out to you via email so that you have them. Please let me know if you are planning to attend. That way, myself and the school administrator can expect you, and we can walk with you on those evenings. Also wanted to bring your attention that we have a second board meeting this month coming up on the 27th. We typically have 2 board meetings in June and 2 board meetings in August. And then we also have a citizens task force coming up at the end of the month. And then, of course, at the beginning of September, we will have the district office and school sites closed on Monday the 2nd in honor of Labor Day. And with that, thank you for giving me some time to provide an update.
Thank you, Superintendent.
Great.
TAT update, Ms. Bowman?
Forgive me for looking a little daggy. I mean, working in my room. I actually need to go back. I don't know if I can. But anyway, hi, I'm Val Bowman. I'm the president of TIT. Good evening, everybody. So the teachers are all getting ready for tomorrow. A lot of people started working last week, and lots of rooms were put together, but I don't know if anybody's quite ready. I spoke to a teacher just a couple hours ago, said, I'm ready, but I'm at my house doing la 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 la. So everybody's looking forward to a good year. We're looking forward to a busy year, and so we'll see what happens, and I'll have another report at the end of the month, but right now I don't have much to say. But Mr. Kaminsky, President Kaminsky, you might like to know this. Joel and his wife are currently at the hospital. She's in labor, so they're about to have a baby. So, all right, guys, have
Congratulations.
a good...
Hooray.
Hooray,
Absolutely.
yeah. So everybody have a good first day tomorrow.
I think we're too old.
Jackie, he's not having the baby.
All right, item 3, CSEA update. Anyone here from CSEA? Number 4, board communications. Vice President Kelly.
Thank you, President Kaminsky. As most of us know, it is almost election season, and the window has closed for the seats that are up for our board. But one of the things that caught my attention, and it may come back up in future business, is the Antelope Valley Union High School District. The Antelope Valley High School District is actually asking for money from Kern County residents. I don't know how that's happening. I haven't dug into it, but they have a bond for about $400 million, and we're listed as part of it. And yeah, exactly. So it's LA County and Kern County, and I don't know how that happens. So I think obviously that there's a concern now, but if and when we ever need to do a bond, how do we get LA's money?
I don't know. I guess we'll have to look into that, right?
So, like I said, I'm not asking for any direction. I just thought it was important to bring that to the board's attention.
Thank you. Anyone else? Clerk Wood and I attended the welcome back yesterday, and kudos to the superintendent and all the staff. She's already thanked them, but there's a lot of energy there. Teachers and staff, they were excited to start for the most part. I'm not going to make a blanket statement because I'm sure that there'd be exceptions, but it was very impressive, lots of things to do, and we're done in 2 hours, right on time. Thank you.
Surprise, surprise. Thank you. It was good to have you both there.
All right. Public comments? Public comments will be allowed. The board president will recognize any member of the audience wishing to speak on items not on the agenda, but directly related to school business. Pursuant to Board Bylaw 9323, the board may limit comments to no more than 3 minutes per person. Public comment will also be allowed on each specific action item prior to board action. The president may allot time to those wishing to speak, but no action will be taken on matters presented, and no discussion of non-agenda items will occur. If appropriate, the president or any member of the board may direct that the matter be referred to the superintendent's office for placement on a future agenda. Are there any public comments? Ma'am, could you come on up and hit the start button there and state your name?
Hi, my name's Christy Weissar, and you'll have to excuse my appearance because I'm the chairman of the Well Music and Arts Foundation in town, and I was just painting and learned that the board meeting was going to be tonight. And I'm coming before the board because I have an issue with my son. I am not an anti-vaxxer, so I want to make that very clear. He has been in the district since TK, all the way on up, and he is in the gifted program as well as in student leadership. He's also in the band. He's in his sophomore year of high school, and last year his big brother tragically lost his life, so he is grieving. And since he's been in junior high, it has been a very challenging situation because during COVID, I got called upwards of 4 times a week with suspected COVID. We went to an allergist, we got every note under the sun, and none of that stopped. It stressed my son out so much that he ended up having mono, which did take him out of school for a month, and then when we went back, it continued. And long story short, for whatever reason, his record of vaccines has not been able to be located. The district nurse has asked me to revaccinate my son. I have no problem with vaccines, but I do have a problem with revaccinating somebody who's already been vaccinated, especially someone who's had mono. And so my issue is I'm looking for a solution, honestly, to end the pursuit of the district nurse towards my son, and I don't know how to stop it. I got an exemption through the CARE program, which is required by the district, and the district nurse had that exemption revoked. So I would like to know what are the next actions that I can take, because I have followed protocol. I have answered every request that's been given to me in a respectful and orderly manner. And I'm a single mom who just wants my kid who's had a really rough year and is grieving his big brother to be able to enjoy his sophomore year, to be able to continue to play the cymbals at every football team with all the school pride in his heart, because he absolutely loves the Warriors. And I just need to know what the next recourse is, and I'm trying to do it as respectfully as possible. I have written the district, and the district did speak to the district nurse, and that called her off for a little while. But yesterday, I got a call that my son would not be allowed back in school after he attended all last year for the same issue that I've been fighting since 7th grade. And just to make it clear, he did have a TDAP or something like that that was due. We immediately went and got it because we do respect the system. And like I said, being the chairman of the Well Music and Arts Foundation, I understand the need for orderliness and respect in the protocols that the district has. In fact, we have a contract with TILA.
The 3 minutes is up, so go ahead and
Okay,
conclude.
so long story short, I would like to know what the next recourse I can make or who I would need to speak to continue to do this in a respectful manner so that my son can get what he needs.
Okay, thank you. We'll refer that to the superintendent, and she'll take appropriate action.
All right, thank you very
Hopefully get a
much for your
solution,
time. Thank you for hearing me.
Any other public comments? Moving on to consent agenda. Quite a few items. And new school year, but I still have a hard time finding my cursor. In order to promote efficient meetings, the board may bundle a number of items and act upon them together by a single vote through the use of a consent agenda. Consent items shall be items of a routine nature and items for which board discussion is not anticipated and for which the superintendent recommends approval. When any board member requests the removal of an item from the consent agenda, the item shall be removed and given individual consideration for action as a regular agenda item. Is there any trustee that wishes to pull one of the consent agenda items?
I don't have a poll, but I do have a question about number 14. There just wasn't a dollar amount on it. So if I need to pull it, I can, or ask to have it pulled. But I just didn't, it's the one between Princeton Review, tutor.com. I just didn't see a dollar amount associated with it.
I believe that was, there was something, it was $35 per use, I think, and
user?
flat
Per
fee,
user? Okay.
30, yeah.
Okay. We're good then.
The question related to tutor.com and the fees.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Intezari. Anyone else have a question? Or if not, I need a motion to approve the consent agenda.
I'll make a motion.
Kelly, a second.
It was motioned by trustee Sweeney and seconded by Vice President Kelly to approve the consent agenda as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Superintendent, approval of Tehachapi Unified School District Governance Calendar 2024-2025.
Sure, before we move on, if you don't mind, one quick introduction that I would like to make that you just approved is our new vice principal at Cummins Valley. So Miss Teresa Johnson, if you don't mind standing up, I'd like for the board just to say hello.
Welcome.
Thank you very much. We're very glad you're here.
Welcome, and as a former principal at Cummings Valley, you'll love it. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much for that opportunity. Moving on, I wanted to address item 1, approval of the board governance calendar. As you are aware, we had this on the agenda as a first read on June 25th, and we're just bringing it back for your approval this evening. In the revisions from the last iteration to this one, we updated the logo and we updated the dates, and that's about the total of all the changes that were made at this point in time. Thank you.
Any questions or comments from a trustee? With that, the board, it's been recommended we approve the Tehachapi Unified School District Governance Calendar 2024-2025 as presented. Do I have a motion?
Kelly, a motion.
I'll second.
It was motioned by Vice President Kelly, seconded by trustee Sweeney. The board approved the Tehachapi Unified School District Governance Calendar 2024-2025. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item number 2, approval of the adoption of Resolution 06 AUG 24, Tehachapi Unified School District Governing Board to observe the Juneteenth holiday on June 20th, 2025.
Thank you, President Kaminsky. Education Code Section 37220 uses the term resolution to allow the date upon which schools close in observance of any holiday to be revised. Board approval of the school calendar yearly without a resolution would likely technically not be an issue, but it would also not technically be in compliance with the statute. So this came up just, it was an inconsequential conversation that we were having with legal counsel on another matter. And they made the recommendation that we should always approve our student attendance calendars, not only just go through the act of approving the calendar, but then follow up with a resolution. So that's what this is about. We're bringing this resolution forward this evening to account for Juneteenth. That day off for staff will be on Friday the 20th. In 2025 instead of on Thursday the 19th. And you can probably figure out the reason why we would want to celebrate it on the 20th as opposed to the 19th. But again, that's the recommendation. So going forward for next year, once we approve the calendar through a regular approval, we'll come back, we'll have legal counsel draw up a resolution, and we'll bring that forward as well. Thank you.
Thank you. So we are technically correct. I will read the resolution.
Thank you very much.
Resolution of the Tehachapi Unified School District Governing Board to observe the Juneteenth holiday on June 20th, 2025. Whereas on June 17th, 2021, the President signed the Juneteenth National Independence Day Act, which recognized Juneteenth, June 19th, as a legal public holiday. Whereas during the 2024-2025 school year, Juneteenth falls on a Thursday. Whereas pursuant to Education Code Section 37220E, the governing board of a school district, by adoption of a resolution, may revise the date upon which the schools of the district close in observance of certain legal public holidays, which includes Juneteenth. And whereas on or about April 9th, 2024, the Board of Trustees Board of the Tehachapi Unified School District approved the 2024-2025 academic calendar, which the district developed with and after receiving input from the Tehachapi Association of Teachers, TAT, and the California School Employees Association and its chapter number 466, CSEA, and which observes Juneteenth on Friday, June 20th, 2025. Now therefore be it resolved that for the 2024-2025 school year, the Tehachapi Unified School District shall observe Juneteenth on Friday, June 20th, 2025. And this is I need a motion to approve the resolution. And a second?
Kelly, a second.
It was motioned by Trustee Cooper, seconded by Vice President Kelly. The board approved the resolution 06 AUG 24, Tehachapi Unified School District Governing Board to observe the Juneteenth holiday on June 20th, 2025. And it's a roll call vote. Ms. Barnes?
President Kaminsky.
Aye.
Vice President Kelly.
Aye.
Clerk Wood.
Aye.
Trustee Cooper.
Aye.
Trustee Napier absent. Trustee Sweeney.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Superintendent. Item 7, business. Ratification of the agreement for emergency use of facilities between CAL FIRE and Tehachapi Unified School District.
Thank you, President Kaminsky. We're seeking ratification of this agreement related to CAL FIRE's emergency response to the White Fire and Rancho Fire occupying the Tehachapi High School campus from July 15th to July 24th for a total fee of $110,000, and seek your approval for the ratification.
Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, it's been recommended the board approve the adoption of resolution, oops, let's get on the right one. It's recommended the board ratify the agreement for emergency use of facilities between CAL FIRE and Tehachapi Unified School District as presented. Is there a motion?
Kelly, make the motion.
Second.
It was motioned by Vice President Kelly, seconded by Trustee Cooper. The board ratify the agreement for emergency use of facilities between CAL FIRE and Tehachapi Unified School District as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 2, approval of the agreement between Schools First Federal Credit Union and Tehachapi Unified School District, third-party benefits administrator. Mr. Intezari.
Thank you, President Kaminsky. The district is seeking approval to move with to engage Schools First Credit Union as our third-party benefit administrator. These benefits are not medical benefits, but those related to voluntary retirement accounts that are employer-sponsored. And there is no change to the plans that our employees already have. They can continue to have. It's just on the back end. Instead of being the previous provider, it would change to Schools First Credit Union. We're looking to make this change by November. We seek your approval over this agreement and the related resolutions later in the agenda.
Which we'll take one by one. Any questions or comments from the board? It's been recommended the board approve the agreement between Schools First Federal Credit Union and Tehachapi Unified School District, third-party benefits administrator as presented. Do we have a motion?
Kelly, make the motion.
Second.
This is motion by Vice President Kelly, seconded by Trustee Cooper. The board approved the agreement between Schools First Federal Credit Union and Tehachapi Unified School District, third-party benefits administrator as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 3, approval of the adoption of Resolution 01 AUG 24, Schools First Hardship Amendment. Mr. Intezori.
Thank you, President Kaminsky. This resolution is just related to authorizing distribution in the case of a hardship as the law allows. We seek your approval.
Any questions or comments from the board? It's been recommended the board approve the adoption of Resolution 01 AUG 24, Schools First Hardship Amendment as presented. Is there a motion?
I'll motion.
Kelly, a second.
It was motioned by Trustee Sweeney, seconded by Vice President Kelly. The board approved the adoption of Resolution 01 AUG 24, Schools First Hardship Amendment as presented. And this is a roll call vote. Ms. Barnes?
President Kaminsky.
Aye.
Vice President Kelly.
Aye.
Clerk Wood.
Aye.
Trustee Cooper.
Aye.
Trustee Napier absent. Trustee Sweeney.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries 5-0. Number 4, approval of the adoption of Resolution 02 AUG 24, Schools First CARES Act Amendment 403B. Mr. Intezori.
Thank you, President Kaminsky. This adoption would authorize relief provisions that are allowed in the CARES Act for qualified individuals, primarily related to loan limits and increases from these plans, and we seek your approval.
Any questions or comments from the board? It's been recommended the board approve the adoption of Resolution 02 AUG 24, Schools First CARES Act Amendment 403B as presented. Is there a motion?
Motion.
I'll second.
It was motioned by Trustee Cooper and seconded by Trustee Sweeney. The board approved the adoption of Resolution 02 AUG 24, Schools First CARES Act Amendment 403B as presented. Again, roll call vote. Ms. Barnes?
President Kaminsky.
Aye.
Vice President Kelly.
Aye.
Clerk Wood.
Aye.
Trustee Cooper.
Aye.
Trustee Napier absent. Trustee Sweeney.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries 5-0. Item 5, approval of the adoption of Resolution 03 AUG 24, Schools First Secure Act and other law changes amendment 403B. Mr. Intezari.
Thank you, President Kaminsky. This adoption is related to authorizing what's called qualified birth and adoption distribution. These are just other distributions that are authorized by the laws, and we seek your approval.
Any questions or comments from the board? It's been recommended the board approve the adoption of Resolution 03 AUG 24, Schools First Secure Act and other law changes amendment 403B as presented. Is there a motion?
Kelly, make the motion.
Second.
It was motioned by Vice President Kelly and seconded by Trustee Cooper. The board approved the adoption of Resolution 03 AUG 24, Schools First Secure Act and other law changes amendment 403B as presented. Roll call vote. Ms. Barnes?
President Kaminsky.
Aye.
Vice President Kelly.
Aye.
Clerk Wood. Aye. Trustee Cooper.
Aye.
Trustee Napier absent. Trustee Sweeney.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries 5-0. Item 6, approval of the adoption of Resolution 04 AUG 24, Schools First CARES Act Amendment 457B. Mr. Intezari.
Thank you, President Kaminsky. My apologies. This adoption also identifies other people that are qualified as qualified individuals under the CARES Act for items related to loan limits. Seek your approval.
Any questions or comments from the board? It's been recommended the board approve the adoption of Resolution 04 AUG 24, Schools First CARES Act Amendment 457B as presented. Roll call vote. Oh, I'm sorry, we need a motion.
Motion.
I'll second.
It was motioned by Trustee Cooper, seconded by Trustee Sweeney. The board approved the adoption of Resolution 04 AUG 24, Schools First CARES Act Amendment 457B as presented. Roll call vote. Ms. Barnes?
President Kaminsky.
Aye.
Vice President Kelly.
Aye.
Clerk Wood.
Aye.
Trustee Cooper.
Aye.
Trustee Napier absent. Trustee Sweeney.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries 5-0. Item 7, approval of the resolution. I lost my place. Item 7, approval of the adoption of Resolution 05 AUG 24, Schools First Secure Act and other law changes amendment 457B. Mr. Intezari.
Thank you, President Kaminsky. This resolution is related to disbursements for beneficiaries or in other reasons why the funds would need to be distributed and a beneficiary is not identified, and we seek your approval.
Any questions or comments from the board? It's been recommended that the board approve the adoption of Resolution 05AUG24, Schools First Secure Act and other law changes amendment 457B as presented. Do I have a motion?
Kelly makes a motion.
I'll second.
It was motioned by Vice President Kelly and seconded by Clerk Wood. The board approved the adoption of Resolution 05AUG24, Schools First Secure Act and other law changes amendment 457B as presented. Roll call vote. Ms. Barnes.
President Kaminsky.
Aye.
Vice President Kelly.
Aye.
Clerk Wood.
Aye.
Trustee Cooper.
Aye.
Trustee Napier absent. Trustee Sweeney.
Aye.
Thank you.
If I might, Mr. Kaminsky, I just wanted to mention and give a compliment to Ms. Carrie Austin, because in bringing this forward to the board, she did a lot of preparation to get all of this ready and make sure that this transition is very smooth for all of our staff. So I just wanted to let you guys know that many thanks to Ms. Carrie Austin.
Yeah, thank you. And the motion carried 5-0. Number 8, approval of the agreement between Johnny Harrison, DPT, and Tehachapi Unified School District. Mr. Intezari.
Thank you, President Kaminsky. Johnny Harrison is a board-certified and licensed physical therapist. The district currently expects to utilize 38 hours worth of services in this year at $125 per hour. We estimate a not to exceed amount of $20,000 for these services funded by the budget allocated to the Special Education Department for professional services. We seek your approval for the agreement.
Any questions or comments for the board? It's been recommended the board approve the agreement between Johnny Harrison, DPT, and Tehachapi Unified School District as presented. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
It is motioned by Clerk Wood and seconded by Trustee Cooper. The board approve the agreement between Johnny Harrison, DPT, and Tehachapi Unified School District as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 9, approval of the agreement between Zonar Systems Incorporated and Tehachapi Unified School District. Mr. Intezari.
Thank you, President Kaminsky. Zonar System provides a software tracking system for our buses, Zonar Z-Pass, that we intend to use on 22 buses, both general and special ed. These will provide not only the Transportation Department with data based on the bus passes that are scanned so that we know that they're assigned to that bus, that they've, that's not someone else's bus pass, no longer relying on the memory of a school bus driver. They have enough things to worry about. And so this will provide us more data on ridership and be able to make more informed decisions. This program also comes with a corresponding application so that parents will be able to receive updates on where their student is that they're expecting on that bus, know that get updates when they scan their bus pass, when they get off the bus, and we hope to use this data to make better informed decisions about transportation. This service is estimated in this year to cost $30,180.36 to implement. One-time cost is about $16,504, and we would expect about $13,028 in ongoing expenses to support the program. We seek your approval for this agreement.
Any questions or comments from the board? I have a question, at least one. Who trains the parents on this app? I am anticipating a ton of phone calls to Mrs. Berry and to site administrators.
Yes, so when we presented, the transportation supervisor and I met with the superintendent, they have a video. It looks pretty user-friendly, which is one of the reasons we selected it. Really, you just identify what route, what district, and then you will just get updates for that specific rider. We can try to make sure we create a user-friendly guide in order to make sure that parents have access. But it is pretty user-friendly, which is why we went with this.
And I'm sure if I was still an administrator, I would be anxious for that first phone call from a parent whose son or daughter went to somebody else's house. Probably be the last time they did that. Anyway, thank you, Mr. Intezari. It's been recommended the board approve the agreement between Zonar Systems Incorporated and Tehachapi Unified School District as presented. Is there a motion?
Kelly, make the motion.
I'll second.
It was motioned by Vice President Kelly, seconded by Trustee Sweeney. The board approved the agreement between Zonar Systems Incorporated and Tehachapi Unified School District as presented. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Now, on number 10, approval of the amendment to the agreement between Terrio Physical Therapy and Fitness and Tehachapi Unified School District. Mr. Intezari.
Thank you, President Kaminsky. At the request of Tehachapi High School, we had to brainstorm because we were unable to secure a certified athletic trainer through the original agreement that we brought forward in May. The recruitment has just been nationwide, but it's difficult to recruit people to California, high cost of living area, especially this time of year. We were hopeful that we had someone secured, but they ended up moving out of state. Our contract is still in place. We're seeking to expand what would qualify instead of an ATC to allow someone with as a lead athletic trainer to provide essentially all of the duties. The only difference, aside from the rate that they would charge, would be that the ATC is qualified for concussion protocol and entry back into games. This person would not. We are hopeful. We have found a potential suitor that is relocating to Tehachapi anyway, so we'd like to secure someone in time for the football season, but because the agreement specified that we would be providing an ATC, and that is a significant difference, this person would still have a bachelor's in kinesiology and experience in athletics, making sure that they can tape, making sure that they could support the coaches and the team as needed. We do not expect any additional costs to arise from this, and we're still in the market for an ATC. We seek your approval for this amendment.
Any questions or comments from the board? Vice President Kelly.
Okay, so you did mention that they wouldn't be able to handle the concussion return to play. Are they going to be capable of acknowledging the concussion?
Yes. So they would be able to hold back a player. It's just more so. The difference is that an ATC essentially has a master's and has gone through some specific protocols, like all about concussions, versus this individual just understands more of the human body.
So they can identify it, we just won't let those players back in the game?
Yes, they're not qualified to release players back into the game. I know that was a concern that was raised when we brought the contract in May, not to put that on the referees, not to put that on, people that aren't qualified to do so. Safety is our priority. We've made that very clear, that while I know they want to win the game, that they report to the administrator, not to necessarily the coaches or the athletic director, and that is like a line we don't cross.
Thank you, Mr. Intezari. It's been recommended the board approve the amendment to the agreement between Terrio Physical Therapy and Fitness and Tehachapi Unified School District. Is there any motions?
Kelly, make the motion.
Second.
This motion by Vice President Kelly, seconded by Trustee Cooper. The board approved the amendment to the agreement between Terrio Physical Therapy and Fitness and Tehachapi Unified School District as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Number 11, approval of the agreement between Cerro Coso Community College and Tehachapi Unified School District facilities use. Mr. Intezari.
Thank you, President Kaminsky. We're seeking approval for a MOU with Cerro Coso Community College through Kern Community College District. As many of you are aware, they are looking to establish a campus here in Tehachapi. They have some portables that they need temporary storage for in order to be a good partner and help get their campus going as soon as possible. We've offered space on Tehachapi High School campus on the southern side by the solar panels, that it would be outside of any school operations, out of sight. and we think that this would be a way to support them as they open their campus in a way that does not impact the district in any way. The agreement does carry liability protections for the district. That is part of the reason why we are not charging anything, because we don't want any kind of expectation. We are just offering some space to put something down at no cost to the district. We seek your approval to enter into this MOU.
Any questions or comments from the board?
I have one.
Vice President Kelly.
Just as a reminder, are we in our final year with that 3-year contract with them?
With their lease, correct. This would be our last year.
Thank you.
All right, it's been recommended the board approve the agreement between Cerro Coso Community College and Tehachapi Unified School District facilities use as presented. Is there a motion?
Kelly, make the motion.
I'll second.
It was motioned by Vice President Kelly and seconded by Trustee Sweeney. The board approved the agreement between Cerro Coso Community College and Tehachapi Unified School District facilities use as presented. All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Number 12, approval of declaring certain district property as surplus and obsolete. District office. Mr. Intezari.
Thank you, President Kaminsky. The district office would like to declare certain furniture and office fixtures obsolete and declare them surplus to properly dispose of them. We seek your approval.
Any questions or comments from the board? Seeing none, it's been recommended the board approve declaring certain district property as surplus and obsolete. District office as presented. I need a motion.
Kelly, make the motion.
Second.
It is motioned by Vice President Kelly, seconded by Trustee Cooper. The board approve declaring certain district property as surplus and obsolete. District office as presented. Roll call vote, Ms. Barnes?
President Kaminsky.
Aye.
Vice President Kelly.
Aye.
Clerk Wood.
Aye.
Trustee Cooper.
Aye.
Trustee Napier absent. Trustee Sweeney.
Aye.
Thank you.
Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Mr. Intezari. Item 8, instructional services. Mrs. Paxton. Number 1, information item, Williams Complaint Quarterly Report.
Good evening. California Code of Regulations requires a quarterly Williams complaint report be provided to the board. And on this report, there were no Williams complaints filed between April 1st, 2024 and June 30th, 2024.
Thank you. News we like to hear. Number 2, approval of appointment of certificated personnel to serve on the district's 2024-2025 administrative panel to conduct expulsion and reinstatement hearings. Mrs. Paxton.
All right. Attached to tonight's agenda is a list of certificated personnel to serve on the district administrative panel for student expulsions. This list is being presented for the board's approval.
Any questions or comments from the board? I assume in 2 weeks we'll have another item like this for Ms. Johnson,
For Ms. Johnson?
the new VP. Is she on there? Oh, okay.
Possibly. I mean, not every administrator has to be on this list. It's pretty extensive.
the
It's longer than normal,
bigger
so
the
I'm not
party.
sure. Yeah.
All right. It's been recommended the board approve appointment of certificated personnel to serve on the district's 2024-2025 administrative panel to conduct expulsion and reinstatement hearings as presented. Is there a motion?
Kelly, a second.
It was motioned by Trustee Cooper, seconded by Vice President Kelly. The board approved the appointment of certificated personnel to serve on the district's 2024-2025 administrative panel to conduct expulsion and reinstatement hearings as presented. Is there a motion? Oh, I'm sorry, I did that. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Item 3, approval of 30-day public review of tobacco use prevention education, TUPE, alternative to suspension curricula for tomato, vaping, and marijuana use for secondary students. Mrs. Paxton.
All right. TUSD has been working with Kern County Tobacco Use Prevention Education Program, also called TUPE, representatives to develop a program that helps to reduce the use of tobacco products for middle and high school students. The program uses activities that build knowledge around the use of tobacco products and the harm that they can cause. All 6th and 9th grade students would receive instruction using the Tupe curriculum during their physical education class. Secondary students caught using tobacco products would be required to attend a 10-day, more intensive Tupe intervention. So we seek your approval to have a public review.
Any questions or comments from the board?
I have one.
Vice President Kelly.
So the first time a secondary student is caught, then they have the 10-day.
So part of the program is all students would engage in the curriculum to prevent the use of tobacco products and vaping and so forth. And then we have a tiered system when students are caught using vaping, and so then it's more intensive, and it's really the purpose is to try and break that addiction cycle.
Okay, I appreciate that. Tiered system, I appreciate.
Any other questions? It's been recommended the board approve the 30-day public review of tobacco use prevention education, TUPE, alternative to suspension curricula for tobacco, vaping, and marijuana use for secondary students as presented. Is there a motion?
I'll motion. I'll second.
It was motioned by Trustee Sweeney and seconded by Clerk Wood. The board approved the 30-day public review of tobacco use prevention education, TUPE, alternative to suspension curricula for tobacco, vaping, and marijuana use for secondary students as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Mrs. Paxton. Item 9, personnel. Dr. Romero. And her one item is approval of provisional internship permits, PIP, for the 2024-2025 school year, moderate, severe, Brown, and mild, moderate, Hostler and Jasso. Dr. Romero.
Thank you, President Kaminsky. Good evening, Board. So I come to you asking under the variable term waivers of CTC for approval of those 3 teachers so we can put them on the provisional internship permit in order to service our students in special education.
Any questions or comments from the board? It's been recommended the board approve the provisional internship permits for moderate, severe, and mild, moderate teachers as presented. Is there a motion?
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
It was motioned by Clerk Wood and seconded by Trustee Sweeney. The board approve the provisional internship permits, moderate/severe and mild/moderate as presented. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion carries 5-0. Thank you, Dr. Romero.
Thank you.
Item 10, future items. Is there any board member that wishes to talk about future items? I just want to take the time to, I met with Trustee Cooper before the end of the school year, and I had, and I'm sure the superintendent and the board members realize what my summer's been like. I wish to, we haven't left, we're not going to forget about cell phones. And when I was wandering around yesterday, when you asked for items, first thing I heard from a middle school teacher was cell phones. So I want to work with the superintendent and Trustee Cooper and Vice President Kelly to come up with questions for a survey, and I wish to work with the superintendent to work with the principals at JMS and THS to see how we can talk to staff and those administrators and those teachers and those classified staff.
And my understanding is Governor Newsom issued a letter earlier today related to cell phones, so I'll make sure that I forward that to all of you
Yeah, and then
tomorrow with it by the end of the week.
because I know LA Unified says it's going to have, they're going to ban cell phones in January, but don't know the details. And my experience in education is the pendulum goes one way and then it goes the other. never in the middle. So, and then it's coming up, I believe, with the legislature. Something's who knows? So we might have something worked out in the legislature, pass a law that's more stringent. I don't know. But anyway, more on that later. Item 11, launch.
All right, I'm going to welcome Dr. Porter up to the podium. As you know, part of capturing kids' hearts is we follow the Excel model. And the last letter of Excel stands for launch, and that's we send everybody off from the meeting or gathering or class period with some energy and focus. So Dr. Porter's going to do that for us this evening. Welcome, Dr. Porter.
Good evening. And I think, okay, Mr. McKay has a little video ready to share. And I just wanted to start it out by saying we are TUSD, and this is the year.
This is a year I learned how to read. This year I get to use an iPad.
This is the year I start middle school.
This year I'm a freshman.
This year, I get to drive.
Man, this is the year. We finally made it.
So surreal.
Seniors.
This is the year. My one chance to inspire.
This is the year to help students reach for the impossible.
This year, we help young people believe in themselves and redefine what is possible. We change lives. This is the year.
That's it. Thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Porter, and I'll take this time to wish all staff a good first day of school, and when those hiccups come, I'm sure they will handle it as smoothly as possible. And I know I shared with somebody yesterday, when I taught, and even as an administrator, that night before the first day of school, I never slept well. I was just too excited. I'm sure most, if not all, feel the same way. Item 12, public comments for closed session. Aren't there any comments for closed session? Seeing none, I am going to adjourn the regular meeting at 6:18 to go into closed session. Item 1, Government Code Section 54956.9A, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, SGF versus TUSD, OAH case number 20240405558.
can sleep on the houseboat.
Yeah.
All right, we are resuming the regular meeting at 7:11. And item 15, report of action taken in closed session. We are reporting out in the matter of Government Code Section 54956.9A, conference with legal counsel, existing litigation, SGF versus TUSD OAH case number 20240405558. In regards to the application for leave to present a late claim, the Board of Trustees granted in part the application for leave, but only for those claims or incidents having occurred on or after the date of April 21st, 2023. For those claims or incidents having occurred before the date of April 21st, 2023, the application for leave was denied in part. In regards to the claim for damages, the Board of Trustees rejected those claims for events or incidents that occurred on or after the date of April 21st, 2023. Please note that the Board of Trustees took no action on those claims presented for incidents having occurred prior to the date of April 21st, 2023 that were deemed late and for which leave was not granted. Ms. Barnes, this is a roll call vote.
President Kaminsky,
I'm sorry, it was the motion was made by Vice President Kelly and seconded by Trustee Sweeney to do what I just read. Now, go ahead.
President Kaminsky,
Aye.
Vice President Kelly,
Aye.
Clerk Wood,
Aye.
Trustee Cooper,
Aye.
Trustee Napier absent, Trustee Sweeney.
Aye.
Thank you.
So the item passed with a 5-0 vote. And with that, we are adjourned for the evening.
Well done, thank you.